Tomorrow, dear Donald, most urgent discourse awaits us. I am making my entrance. Donald, are you feeling unwell? Donald? Oh my word, Donald hath departed from this world.
Don't worry, I'll cover it. William, do come in.
Good morrow, William. I have a query.
Pray, what doth thou seek to inquire?
Gentleman Donald, who resides within my humble abode, hath unfortunately passed away, leaving a debt of £4 owed to me.
How dreadfully unfortunate. Pray, what means shall you employ to regain your funds?
Pray pardon my ignorance, for it is precisely this matter of inquiry that has drawn me to consult you.
Pray, I am acquainted with an individual who did facilitate the sale of a body to the esteemed Professor Monroe of the Edinburgh University.
Pray, do enlighten me as to the sum in question, if you have knowledge of such.
I am uncertain as to the cost thereof, yet a visit would prove detrimental.
Pray, let us make haste.
After the decision to sell Donald's body was made, Hare and Burke steal Donald's body from his coffin and go to Edinburgh University. There they meet Dr. Robert Knox, who was a professor and doctor of anatomy. Dr. Knox quickly bought the body from Hare and Burke to use as practice for himself and his students, paying €10. Before Hare and Burke left, Dr. Knox tells them that he would be glad to do business with them again if they happen to have another body to dispose of. It is now January of 1828, 2 months after the first death. Hare has another man by the name of Joseph lodging at his home. Joseph was a miller and a model tenant until he got fever and became very ill. Concerned with how having a sickly man within his house can affect his business, Hare once again went to Burke to ask for help, where Hare and Burke agreed to kill Joseph and sell his body to Dr. Knox. So that night, they invite Joseph to drink with them. Joseph is now dead from suffocation due to an ingenious method used by Hare and Burke, where one man would lay across the upper torso, which prevents noise, movement, and the chest expanding, while the other man would hold a pillow over the head. With Joseph now dead, Hare and Burke bring the body to Dr. Knox, where he pays the duo €10, and thus the murder spree of Hare and Burke have begun. It was now November of 1828, and the two had picked out their next victim, a man named James Wilson, who was a mentally disabled man with a deformed foot that lived on the streets. Hare lured James into his home with the promise of whiskey.
Pray, allow me to extend a warm welcome to my humble abode. Here is my esteemed wife, Margaret. I hope you do not take offense if she joins us.
By no means, I assure you.
Splendid. I also extend an invitation to my esteemed friend, Mr. William Burke. His company is most delightful. Dear Margaret, would you be so kind as to fetch him?
By all means.
Hear, hear. Jamie, William and I humbly entreat thee to allow us the pleasure of revealing something of importance to thee.
Verily, that doth please the ear.
Although James puts up a fight, he is killed. Hare and Burke bring his body to Dr. Knox and sold it for €10, but there was a problem. James was a very popular street presence, and several of Dr. Knox's students recognized his body. Realizing this, Dr. Knox acts quickly and removes the head and feet off of the body of James. Thanks to this, Hare and Burke are free to continue, but their luck is about to be over.
Good day. Might I inquire about your name?
I'm called Margaret Daughtry, good sir.
Daughtry. Why, that is indeed the maiden name of my mother.
Really?
Indeed, pray tell. Might you indulge in the pleasure of my company for libertation?
Certainly.
Burke has lured a woman named Margaret Dougherty into his home. Once they arrive, Burke goes to retrieve Hare, but runs into somebody else, James and Anne Gray. They are a couple that is lodging at Burke's house. Realizing the dilemma that they cannot kill Dougherty if others are there, Burke quickly acts. He offers the Grays a place at Hare's house, saying that he has family over. The Grays end up accepting.
Pray, allow me to introduce my esteemed companion, William. His companionship is indeed delightful. Pray, behold the finest whiskey.
Am I supposed to drink?
Yeah.
It is now the day after. Dougherty is dead, and Burke is on his way out to run errands. Before he leaves, he finds a surprise. James and Anne Gray.
Good day, dear William. This is James and Anne speaking. We have inadvertently left behind certain possessions and are now in the process of retrieving them.
I beseech your pardon, yet the hour is ill suited for discourse. Kindly take your leave, and grace me with your presence at a later juncture.
Very well. Let us proceed forthwith.
Nay, we are gathering our possessions.
James and Anne head upstairs to grab their belongings, despite what Burke says. What they find instead is the body of Margaret Dougherty hidden underneath the bed. Shocked and frightened, James and Anne run out of the house to alert the constabulary. Unaware of this, Burke returns to his home with a surprise waiting.
Hark, sir. It is the constabulary who addresses you. You stand to be apprehended on the grave of accusation of unlawful taking of life.
Hark! I solemnly declare, it was not I. It was my neighbor, William Hare. Upon my honor, I swear.
Hark, sir. It is the constabulary who addresses you. You stand to be apprehended on the grave of accusation of unlawful taking of life.
Such a notion is utterly absurd.
Not only were Burke and Hare arrested, but their wives were also taken in for questioning. They were all taken to separate rooms to give their statements, where both Burke and Hare blamed the other for the murder. The police already had Burke dead to rights with the charge of the murder of Margaret Dougherty, but they had been tying other missing persons cases to Burke and Hare. So the police made the decision to approach Hare with a deal. Give all the information needed to build a case against Burke, and he would be free from charges. Hare, of course, took the deal, and along with other testimonies from Dr. Knox's students, the verdict for William Burke was guilty of 4 counts of murder. He was given the death penalty. Both William and Margaret Hare got off scot-free and fled to England. Dr. Robert Knox was also not charged with any wrongdoing despite several accusations from students. On the morning of January 28, 1829, in front of a large crowd, William Burke was hanged by the neck until dead. 3 days later, his body would be publicly dissected, and his skeleton would be gifted to the Anatomical Museum at Edinburgh Medical University, where it still remains today. Overall, thanks to both Hare and Burke's confessions, they've been tied to the murders of 16 individuals throughout 1827 to 1829, including some disturbing ones such as the murder of a mother and daughter, murder of a grandmother and a 9-year-old grandson, and even the murder of William Burke's wife's relative.